today I'd like to start a new series with one of the brilliant engineers of India in the field of chemistry and physics and all. And he's also a good old friend of mine, Dr. Prakash. And after this intro video, we'll be covering basic issues of science and education. Now, Dr. Prakash, can you tell us a little bit about your studies and your interests in life? And
Sure, Vikas. It'll be a pleasure. I grew up very much as a Bangalore boy. Went to school at Cotton's in Bangalore, and after that, did my engineering in chemical engineering at the Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal. And soon after that, I got very interested in other areas of engineering and technology, and I ran away to the US. I studied at the University of Rhode Island in Kingston. It's one of the smallest states in the United States of America. But it was a wonderful experience.
in which year did you go to USA?
I went to the US in 1989.
So before India liberalized?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. In fact, what happened was after my undergraduation, I wrote the GATE and I got into IIT Bombay. And that was during the monsoon time, and I had seen enough of rain in Manipal. So I said, let me get out to some other place, and I got a scholarship, so I went away up there. So at the University of Rhode Island, I worked with Professor Otto Gregory in the area of plasma deposition and reactive chemistry. That was a very good experience. I still remember, I very quickly decided that I'll do whatever is required for my research thesis, and I got a beat up old car, a Mazda GLC, and I used to drive all the way from Kingston to Providence, which was the capital of the state of Rhode Island, and I had a great problem coming back every evening, from the Brown University, where I did my research, because my car would never start, because it was it was sold to me in such a bad condition, but I thought it was the greatest piece of machinery that I owned. And so I finished up my master's, then I moved on to my PhD at the same university, and I worked in computational fluid dynamics, in particular focusing on what happens at interfaces. See, when you have a liquid and a solid, what happens at that interface, or what happens between two liquid interfaces, like if you put a drop of water in oil, what happens at the interface between the oil and water. These were the fascinating things for me. So I finished my my education up there, and then I moved to California. I took the very first job that I got with a small company in Hayward. And life went on, and circumstances got me back to India. And I think one of the nice things that I thought that I could do was I had the absolute freedom to kind of meddle around with basic science up here, because I felt it was a lot more easier to do here for a variety of reasons, and India also was rapidly changing. So both personal circumstances and the fact that there was
India had changed and had become dynamic now.
It was quite fascinating because in many ways there was a lot of equalization. I didn't see much difference between the US and India anymore, for the very fact what we had while we were growing up as kids. I remember that if you had to play a sport, you had to pick up a shoe, and if you used it for a week, your soles were gone. So I remember getting tire soles put on shoes so that you can wear them down for a longer time.
Yeah, that's the socialist days of India.
Yeah. So suddenly coming back here, you had access to all the material things, the day-to-day comfort creatures. So I didn't find any difference, between what was happening here and there. But I thought that there could be more contribution that I could do here rather than up there. At least that was a hypothesis. I still subscribe to that. but the realities of things happening here have changed my opinions a little bit. But I think the direction of doing what you could do either in a Western country or an Indian country, uh, you could mold it in India on an equal footing.
And on top, and plus you inherited a business in India also.
Yes, I've done a lot of startups, not necessarily all of them successful, but I think the journey of doing these startups back in the US as well as in India, taught me, somebody who is from just an engineering and science background, a lot about the realities of life, of how to translate something that is of scientific value to maybe a commercial value.
And you do have a lot of patents also.
Yeah, I have a few patents, still a lot more to be filed, and it is an ongoing process.
Okay, thank you for the intro, Prakash, and we'll continue the videos as we go along.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vikas.